Finally, the NFL season is back, and along with it comes one of the most popular armchair sports in history, fantasy football. And nobody knows more about fantasy football than national expert Jake Ciely from The Athletic, who honors us with his expertise again this season, although this year from his Athletic studio. Jake, how different was it for you to make your picks with no preseason games?
It was slightly different this year. It was a lot more digging into research of what's really talent-wise based instead of reported based, because we get the reports every single year. We still had the reports from the beat writers and the people watching the practices, but usually we use that information and see if the games, the preseason games, back that up. See who's out there with the first quarter, see who's out there at the end of the game and might be cut the next week. So we've had to go off a lot of hearsay information, which is usually spot on, but I've been basing a lot on talent too. Like you saw some surprising cuts, but if you're digging into the right information, it's a little bit different this year, but it's worthwhile.
All right, the Thursday night game is behind us, but let's get started. Who are your sleepers for week one?
Yeah, just wait for Monday night. The entire Steelers offense. If you like to find matchups this year, right in our own division, the Giants defense is going to be one of the most exploitable defenses this year. Tough to find talent down this roster. They were trading for cast-offs from other team in the secondary because of the injuries they've already suffered on top of everything. So you just want to attack the Giants defense, start your players against them, and then I'll come to our own team here and say their second wide receiver. Everybody knows Terry McLaurin, but Steven Sims is somebody that caught a lot of touchdowns from Dwayne Haskins in the final few weeks of last season and can continue to roll into week one this year.
Now, I ask you this question week one every year. For the first-year fantasy player, they've already made their draft picks, but will make changes. Which positions are the most valuable?
Now, there's just one position. I mean, all the positions have value, and everybody always thinks quarterbacks because they score the most. But the fantasy best value is running backs because it's so hard to find somebody that you can trust week in and week out, that you start no matter the matchup, that you don't have to worry about splitting carries with his backups. So the running back position is very important. That's why you see, like, nobody have heard of James Robinson until 2 weeks ago for the Jaguars, but because he might be starting week one, everybody wants him because you got to go find those running backs you can trust.
All right, now let's talk about Washington. You mentioned Sims, but is there anybody else on the team you have confidence in to put on your fantasy team this year?
Absolutely. I mentioned Terry McLaurin kind of in passing with that too. Terry McLaurin needs to be in your lineup every single week. He'll be the most trusted one, but go to running back too. Antonio Gibson, who they drafted, didn't have a lot of running back snaps in college, but he had a lot of snaps where he's highly productive. Part of the reason the team let Adrian Peterson go. I think you look at Antonio Gibson's going to lead this backfield. It might be a little share between everybody else, Peyton Barber and Bryce Love and everything like that, but Gibson's the one. McLaurin's an absolute must start every single week. And look out, I wouldn't start him yet, but just keep Logan Thomas on your radar at the tight end position. He could be sneaky this year.
All right, he's the best. Follow Jake on The Athletic and Twitter, and every week here on The Huddle.